anchovies or fish, salt, water, maybe a little bit of sugar. Believe me, no MSG is necessary, neither are preservatives. Bacteria don't want a piece of this action. Poke your head into the refrigerator case and you will no doubt encounter some Tom Ko Pom Hang, aka dried shrimp, a very common and important seasoning in Thai cuisine, as well as many of the cuisines of Southeast Asia. Now, they are nothing more than tiny little sun-dried shrimp. The flavor is very concentrated, very, very briny. It is an excellent seasoning, but you definitely want to fight the urge to make little shrimp cocktails out of it. You would like that. Now, this crazy contraption holds the seeds of the tamarind tree, which are in themselves wrapped up in a very odd looking paste, which is, it has a very complex taste, a little bit sour, a little bit bitter, a little bit sweet, kind of like a lime flavored raisin. Since in the end, all we really need is to produce a flavorful liquid from this, we might as well do away with the hard labor and just buy it in paste form. Soak this in boiling water, force it through a sieve, and you're good to go. Next thing we need, palm sugar. Now this stuff is made from sap that drips from the buds of the sugar palm. After collection, the sap is boiled down until all that remains is the sticky sugar, kind of like maple sugar. To use, just break off a hunk and use it like you would any other sugar. The last ingredient on today's list, preserved or salted cabbage, which can be called either Tung Chai or Tianjin, after the city that is apparently famous for producing this dish. It's little more than cabbage and salt, but it lends an amazing flavor and, of course, texture to stir fries, soups, and whatnot. Well, that's it. Guess it's time for me to catch my flight home. Oh, that's right. I'm already home. I love this place. Top quality, authentic ingredients are all fine and good, but they do not a pad thai make. For that, you're going to need a big old bucket of heat delivered fast and furious. Now, can this be attained in a standard American pan on a standard American cooktop? Well, you can get by, but if you really want to take your tongue on a trip, you're going to walk this way. Now understand, the wok shape is perfect for stir fries because the heat can be tightly focused at the bottom, but it rapidly dissipates as it moves up and out towards the rim of the pan. Now a skilled wokmeister uses this to his or her advantage by pushing cooked ingredients up the sides where they'll stay warm without overcooking. Now you can certainly find yourself a top quality wok at some fancy schmancy culinary emporium, but if you really want to hit the mother load as far as selection goes, you'll do a little research and find yourself a restaurant supply store that specializes in Asian kitchen supplies. Now let me just show you a... Can I just have a little privacy, please? Top quality woks are easy to spot. They are deep and well-rounded. They are sturdy in construction. All the rivets are nice and heavy-duty, and they are made out of good metal, generally high carbon steel. Ooh, this one, you can actually see the hammer marks where it was hand-finished. It's a nice sign of craftsmanship. Now, for just everyday stir frying at home, 14-inch wok probably do you fine, 14-inch. But if you're going to do any kind of entertaining, I think 16-inch is a far, far better thing. As for handles, the double loop style is very popular in restaurants because it stays out of the way. You've got less chances of kind of knocking things over. But to tell the truth, in an average home kitchen, or an average home backyard, I really think that the single hollow metal handle is better for pan handling. As for the color, this is not a non-stick surface. It is simply a protective coating placed on the pan to keep it from rusting. It will wear off and burn off with time. That's a good thing. The bottom line is, put another baking pan on top, and then we'll need a weight to actually wring that out. 5 pounds ought to do the trick. If you don't have one of these, you can use a phone book or a few cans of food. And into the refrigerator. Night. The next day, unwrap your tofu and give it a soak. 1/2 hour and 1½ cups of soy sauce laced with 1 teaspoon of 5-spice powder, which, if you're feeling industrious, you can make yourself by grinding together equal portions of star anise, fennel seeds, cloves, Szechuan peppercorns, which aren't actually peppercorns, they're really the fruits of the prickly ash, and cassia or Chinese cinnamon. Next up, bring a kettle of water to a boil and pour 3/4 of a cup over 1 ounce of the tamarind paste. Now we're going to let that just kind of sit and soak for a few minutes. In the meantime, grab a cutting board and retrieve the marinating tofu. Now remember, we had 4 pieces in here. We do not need that many. We're only going to do 2 servings here. So I'll retrieve 2 and save 2 for later. They can continue to marinate for several minutes. Just grab a knife and slice them thin. Now we're looking for about half-inch pieces here. You don't have to be too rigorous with it. That's enough. That'll give us even portions for both servings. We'll move those over to a bowl in our mise en place tray. Now time to build the pad thai sauce. The tamarind is finished soaking, so I'm going to grab another bowl and a hand sieve or hand strainer. It needs to be a relatively fine mesh. And we will mix together 2 tablespoons of our palm sugar with 2 tablespoons of the fish sauce and 1 tablespoon of rice wine vinegar. Just kind of mash that down. It doesn't have to dissolve thoroughly yet. It's good enough. We're going to strain in the tamarind mixture. Now the goal is to squeeze all of the pulp out of the tamarind while leaving all of the seeds and kind of stringy stuff behind. You know, the stuff that looks like this. Or as you can tell your kids, it's beef stew and just watch the fun unfold. Don't eat this. There. As for our 4 ounces of rice noodles, they don't have to cook. They do need to rehydrate in hot, but not too hot water. This is about 128 degrees. I like to use what's left over from my kettle, but hot tap water would do as well. 10 minutes will do the job. As for the rest of our ingredients, everything gets its own little bowl. A couple of scallions chopped on the bias, a couple teaspoons of minced garlic, 2 whole eggs, 2 teaspoons of our salted cabbage, 1 tablespoon of dried shrimp chopped, 3 ounces of bean sprouts, half a cup of salted peanuts, and just a wee bit of ground dried chilies for garnish. Last but not least, 1 lime. We'll wait and cut this up when we're finished. Now, time to find a launching pad for this. Even if my cooktop could properly accommodate a wok, which it can't, I wouldn't stir fry in the house unless it was the dead of winter and the furnace wasn't working. Besides, out here on the porch, I have this. Believe you me, a couple of quarts of hardwood charcoal will generate all the BTUs necessary for woking. If you place your cooking grates on top and top that with a wok ring available for about $10 at any kitchen store, you've got yourself the perfect woking platform. Now, my legal team has asked me to remind you that like swimming, playing golf, or sitting still on your sofa, grilling can be hazardous. So make sure that you comply with all local, state, and federal guidelines for this kind of activity, and at all times obey the manufacturer's instruction booklet. And I'd like to add, never hurts to keep one of these around, just in case. In 10 minutes, this will be ripping hot and ready to go. Guys, keep an eye on this for me while I grab my food. Right into a new season of crawling. We approach the wok. We cook. A small bit of our oil goes in the pan. We follow that immediately with the tofu, which we will cook very, very briefly, tossing constantly. When the tofu is nice and brown around the corner, we will take that out to the bowl from whence it came. We'll add that back later. The wok goes back down, a little bit more oil goes in, and in go about 2/3 of our scallions. All of our garlic goes in, and stir. Now we introduce the egg to the party. We'll let those sit for just a second until they start to solidify, then we scramble. There we go. Once the eggs have scrambled, we'll quickly bring on the noodles and the sauce. A little steam. Give that a toss to get them moistened. And about 2/3 of the mung bean sprouts, along with about 2/3 of the peanuts. All the salted cabbage. All of those beautiful little shrimps. And toss to coat. All that mass is going to bring down the heat in the wok a little bit, so now we'll let it sit just for a few moments so that the steam from the sauce at the bottom of the wok can come up through the dish, flavoring it and warming everything through. Now at this point we can add the tofu back to the pan and toss again. There, heated through, time to plate. finish with the rest of the bean sprouts, some more of the scallions, the rest of the nuts, especially around the edges. Don't worry about that. And don't breathe in, guys. The chilies. There we go. Last but not least, the limes that you so graciously cut. Very nice. Thanks for your help, guys. See ya. Okay, so I didn't get the trip, but I also didn't get the delayed flights, the grumpy customs agents, the messed up hotel reservations, and hey, I didn't get bitten by a single mosquito. So who's to say that you have to travel to get out of town? Thanks to a little culinary curiosity, we've opened a door to a larger world. One where the grocer becomes the travel agent, and the only jet engine you need is the one you park your walk on. I'm Alton Brown, wishing you bon voyage, not to mention good eats. If you're a fan of this program, you know full well that we've committed several of our episodes to exploring and exploiting the culinary virtues of dry pastas, mostly in the Italian style. Now, what's really interesting about Italian pastas is that the parts list, the ingredients, are almost always the same. There's hard-earned wheat, some water, and the occasional egg, and that's, well, pretty much it. What really differentiates all of these pastas is not the ingredient as much as the shape. Each one finely tuned to match, say, a broth or a chunky ragu, butter, cheese, oil, etc.